So with adding vSwitch 2 for VM kernel iScsi and adding the new partition to our Active Directory, now is the time to enable iScsi target server in Active Directory. For your production environment, I don't recommend you that enable iScsi target in your Windows, because obviously it's Windows and you have to be careful about the security, I don't know, antivirus, ransomware attack, or whatever. I see, for example, a production network that use Windows Server, and in the morning they saw that all the iScsi target on that specific server, actually it's locked by the ransomware. For test lab, or I don't know, another reason, for example, you want to test a virtual machine inside iScsi or backup partition, I should say the third or fourth backup partition, it could be a great option. But if you want to count it as the first option, I don't recommend you. Even I don't recommend you that you move your VMs from your DAS storage, which is your local disk server, to the iScsi, because iScsi is not fast enough. It's need a consideration for media, and you can use embedded iScsi storage, something like QNAP or HPE or other vendor. No matter you install it by yourself on your, for example, FreeNAS, open source software, or I don't know, in your embedded iScsi storage, I don't recommend you that you count on the iScsi. Only for backup. But for test lab or something like this, or even for a small network, that would be okay. But for medium size and enterprise, it will damage your infrastructure. Believe me and trust me, because I have the experience working with that iScsi, because of my client insisting, for example, using this iScsi storage, and I told them forget about this storage because this actually iScsi is not fast enough, or things like that. So again, if you have iScsi storage, you can use it for your Vim backup, for your backup data, I don't know, for your second storage, for your second data store in your iScsi, that you can have a light virtual machines, that would be okay. Otherwise, I strongly recommend you that you buy FC or fiber channel storage for your production network. So here we'll say add role and feature, and next, and again next. And here we'll go to file and storage services, and we'll expand file and iScsi service, and we'll scroll down to the iScsi target server, and we'll say next, and again next, and install. So the role is added successfully. We'll click on close, and we'll go to file and storage services here, and we'll click on iScsi. So here is the link to create iScsi volume disk. As you can see here, we have two disks. We're going to use the second one. Of course, here you can use the path for your disks or folder that you want. So I'm going to select this disk, and we'll say next. And here we'll give it a name for virtual disk name. We'll say iScsi disk, and next. And here we'll use, for example, 40 GB of 50 GB that we have in our disk. So we'll say next, and here it tells you new iScsi target. As we don't have existing iScsi target, we'll select the new iScsi target, and here we'll say iScsi target, and we'll say next, and here we'll say add, and now we'll select the default option here, which is enter the value for the selected type. For your Windows, you should select IP address here, and you should type the server IP address, which is going to be 10.5 here. But we want to actually connect it to the VMware. We should use IQN value here. So here we should type the value. So we'll go to our VMware vSphere here. Here on iScsi, configure, we'll go to storage adapter. And here we'll click on add software adapter, and by add software iScsi adapter selected, we'll click on OK. And here we'll do a refresh, So we'll go to properties, and here we'll click on edit. Here, as you can see, we have the value, which is IQN, and the rest of the value here. So we'll copy the iScsi name here. We'll say copy. And here we'll paste it here. Say OK, and next, and again next. And here you can enable the CHAP authentication. You can say, for example, test. You can say the user and the password. In your production environment, I strongly recommend you that you use enable CHAP authentication. And we'll say next and create. So we have successfully created this task, and we'll close this window. So now is the time we'll go to dynamic discovery, and we'll type the IP address, which obviously is going to be our Active Directory IP address. So now we'll go to network port binding here, and we'll say add, and now we'll select VM kernel 01, which is our iScsi vSwitch here. And as you can see, it will recommend you that you rescan the adapter. And now we should say rescan adapter. So here we'll go on path. As you can see, we can see the active connection for our iScsi. And of course, this is going to be our LAN here. So let's unpin tasks here. As you can see, we have the iScsi disk here. This is how you can enable iScsi target on Windows Server, and how you can connect your ESXi to the iScsi target server.